Hi, everyone. It's been a while since I've been with you to share a story, but I have a new book I'm very excited about. It's called Stories of the Saints, and the subtitle says Bold and Inspiring Tales of Adventure, Grace, and Courage. I wonder if you know who's on the cover of this book. It's a person with a wolf. It would be Saint Francis. Saint Francis, who was beloved of the animals and loved animals. And there's a story about him taming a wolf so that this wolf no longer terrorized a local village. So Saint Francis we remember on October 4th. But on December 6th, there's another really important saint that we remember. Now, I'm sure all of you know who Santa Claus is, and sometimes you'll hear Santa Claus referred to as jolly old St. Nicholas or St. Nick. Well, St. Nicholas was actually a bishop early in the years of the Christian church, and he lived in Turkey, which in the city of Myra, and he lived from the years 270 to 343. That is a really long time ago. But there's a story about him and why we remember St. Nicholas as someone who loved children and someone who was very generous in giving gifts. So I wanted to share this story with you. This isn't really a picture book. I'll show you what it looks like. There's a lot of words in it. There's a picture right there. And I'll tell you what St. Nicholas is doing in that picture. So I hope you enjoy this story. While Nicholas was Archbishop of Myra, a town on the coast of Lycia, he heard of a rich man who had lost everything he ever had except for his 3 daughters. Because he had no money, the man worried about his daughters all the time. He wanted to see them happily married with homes of their own, but he couldn't afford to pay their dowries, a small fortune that a woman's family was supposed to give to the family of the man who married her. Women couldn't work for their own money at the time, and because he couldn't afford to take care of his daughters, the man decided they would be better off as slaves. When Nicholas heard this, he decided to help the man with money that he had inherited when his wealthy parents died. But he didn't want to wound the man's pride. So instead of making a big deal of helping the man, Nicholas waited until it was night. Then he snuck up to the house where the man and his daughters lived and threw a bag of gold through the window. In the morning, when the family found the bag of gold, they rejoiced. "It's enough for you to be married," the man told his first daughter. But after she had been married off and had a home of her own, he sank into sorrow over his other 2 daughters. He didn't want to sell them into slavery, but without any money, he didn't know how else to take care of them. When Nicholas heard this, he crept out into the dark streets of the city again with another bag of gold and threw it into the man's house through the same window. This time, when the man found it, he fell face down weeping. It was just enough money for the second daughter to be married. "God," he prayed, "please show me who has been so kind to us. Please show us whom to thank." Now he wasn't afraid any more of what would happen to his third daughter. He knew whoever had helped rescue the first 2 wouldn't forget her. So he began to keep watch, hoping to catch the person who had helped his family so much whenever they came back. This time, when Nicholas returned to the man's house at night with his last bag of gold, he didn't throw it through the window. Instead, to make sure he wouldn't be caught, he climbed up on the roof and dropped the bag of gold down the chimney, where it landed in one of the socks that the family had hung by the fire to dry. As soon as the man saw the bag of gold swinging there by the chimney, he ran out into the street, leaving the money behind. He was just in time to catch Nicholas, who was about to disappear into the night. "How can we ever thank you for all your gifts?" he asked Nicholas. "They weren't from me," Nicholas told him. All good things come from God, from the sky above to the air we breathe to the love in our hearts. He's who you should thank." Then he disappeared again into the night. So that is the story of St. Nicholas of Myra. And he is the patron saint, meaning he's the special one who looks after children, sailors, merchants, brides, givers of anonymous gifts, and Russia and Greece are the countries that he's the patron saint of. And if you see 3 gold balls hanging in a pawn shop, which is a place you take things to sell, to trade so that you can get some money for, you might see 3 gold balls there. Oranges, which look like gold balls, are another emblem of Nicholas. Also, a purse, an anchor, and a ship. So, those are all images that might remind us of the goodness and the generosity of St. Nicholas. So, I hope that every year on December 6th, you will remember that Nicholas was a generous and good and kind bishop, and that in some countries in the world, children set shoes out on the eve of St. Nicholas, hoping that they will find treats in their shoes in the morning, just like we hang stockings by our fireplaces or somewhere else in our homes on Christmas Eve. So, December 6th, happy St. Nicholas Day to all of you.